Hello, welcome. This is JuiceeSaft for the Juicy. Oh wait, I was about to say JuiceeCast. Wrong thing. Juicy cup of juice. That's what the word is. Sorry. With your check-in, it's a day late. Unfortunately, I apologize. There was a little hold up. My bad. I meant to do it and then forgot, and then whoops. But not a big deal. It's not absolutely set in stone, but I'm trying my best to always upload a check-in every Monday. So far, for the change, still haven't cleaned out my car, but I am keeping this room a lot cleaner. A lot cleaner than it's ever been. So, it's good. I mean, I'm actually, now that I think about it, trying to... Sorry, fish. Trying to stay up to date with it. Trying to throw away things as I see them fit. I did not draw the hand every day. I don't have a lot of art materials or pencils, and I don't want to draw on pen because it annoys me. Oops. And I am very poor with writing a sentence every day, but I am still trying to do that. Exercise also hasn't been up. Food-wise, I'm not eating a good enough diet. All of these things I hope to change. It is a process. Again, this is a year challenge. It's supposed to be from day one till the last day, and then the final check-in the morning after, or New Year's, basically, to see how much has changed. I think fundamentally, I believe that the only thing that stops you from changing from who you are is a lack of reflection and a lack of care of who you are. Overall, I'm not talking about things that are out of your control or things that you are trying to change, but it's just impossible to change. I'm talking about, the end goal that even if you don't change from what you are, the only time that it really matters that you should change is how you treat other people and how you act. We have a really bad concept or a bad image of people and change. Everybody believes that people don't change and that once you're one way, you're going to be that way forever. I definitely don't agree with that. There's a lot of people that can't change, and I really do believe in people. I get angry, I do, get mad, and I do have a tendency to say less than desirable things about people, like anybody else. But overall, my true feelings are, I'm a person that is extremely forgiving. I can't hold a grudge. I get angry very easily, and I have anger issues, but when people apologize, or I feel like we've, talked about it, whatever, it takes it away. I can't really be mad once I know that your apology is sincere and everything like that, or if I have to apologize or anything like that. I'm someone that has no problem apologizing when I'm wrong, or if I feel like I'm being wrong. Like, for instance, anytime that I'm in a fight with somebody and I'm in an argument and I'm raising my voice, I have to stop and apologize for doing that. Because I know that, an argument doesn't need to be an argument. A fight doesn't need to be a fight. I don't need to, yell at every single person. Sometimes it can be warranted if they're being horribly rude to people and, they're just being, like, for instance, if somebody was just beating somebody up, you don't have to be like, well, I'm sorry for yelling at you right now. I understand this is a very stressful situation. You're hitting somebody, and oh God, I know how that goes. No, but in terms of where there's a disagreement or where there's a mistake or things like that, you really don't need to, especially when it comes to partners and things like that. You don't need to be angry in that level, in that capacity. I also believe that owning up to your mistakes, or at least wanting to work better with them, is very important. And there's nothing that stops you from doing the best that you can to change that. For instance, I say for instance a lot. I got to increase my vocabulary. That's another thing I got to work on. I got to read more, but I'm lazy. So, and reading is so infuriating because you got to sit there and stare at the page. I can read just fine. I can speed read even. I just don't like doing it because it's got to enthrall me. It's got to capture me. I've got to even the books that I've loved and enjoyed. For instance, never read light novels for manga and anime and things like that. I just never do typically. because none of them really captured the like I'm not like, oh, I need to, I usually just stop at the manga if I see an anime that I like, and I go to the manga and I'll listen to that. But for instance, Overlord, it's not the best, it's not the greatest, but I do enjoy reading it. It's something, even for that, where I enjoy reading it, I still skim and I still speed because I get the general gist of what's going on, and then I skip past it. I might go back and reread it and then notice something different, but the first time around, there's like a time limit before I stop. I'm like, that's enough. That's enough reading. I'm just gonna get through this the best I can. I like skip setting. I skip scenery. If I can understand the general gist, I'll just kind of like back and forth. Anyway. Lost my train of thought. I know that I was talking about change, and I know, obviously, and I know that I was talking about problems with people and relationships. Oh, yeah. Back to the original point of what I was about to say. When it comes to relationships and things like that, a lot of people think, oh, well, you have to have the languages of love down. If you don't, well, then, it's not going to work. Not necessarily. I think the real important language of anything is language of conflict, like how you two deal with problems that present themselves. I know that some people are people that have to leave a situation and go away. That isn't me, personally. I have to talk it out. Growing up, my mother and I were not on the best of terms all the time, and we would fight a lot. And she was a very confrontational, like, verbal, like, we're talking about this now. There'd be times where I'd be just like, she'd yell at you, you go to bed, but I wouldn't close my eyes. I wouldn't close my eyes because I got so used to her just coming back into the room to finish the whole conversation, to finish yelling at me for the same things. So I would just kind of stare at the moon and wait, or I'd stare at the door, and my heart would be pounding. I was a little kid. I'd just be like looking. Here I am in my Blue's Clues sleeping bag on the floor, just like, and sure enough, continuously. And after years of that, I don't know how to. I don't know how to deal with taking time. It could have been different. I could have been the kind of person that needs time away. I could have, from that, learned a different way of dealing with conflict, but that is how I deal with conflict. I have to talk it out. Unlike my mother, I actually want to make sure that I'm not unjustifiably mad, or that I am, getting it wrong. Like, I want to make sure that I'm right to how I feel, or if someone's angry with me, I want to make sure that they're angry at me for the right reasons, or, not to be angry with me if I can solve that. But some people, they need time to settle down before they can talk about something and gather their thoughts and things like that. And while you could say, well, one person just has to give up, and I don't think so. At some point, you're going to have to meet in the middle. Sometimes you're going to have to just let them be by themselves and figure it out, and sometimes they're going to have to, talk about the issue as it's presented. It's a case-by-case basis. It's completely none of our business. It's just up to you two. Or 3 or 4 if you're in a polyamorous relationship. It's maturity, how you handle each other. But in that, a lot of people want to be right. A lot of people want to be right. They want to win an argument when that's not the right thing. You shouldn't want to win. Winning should never be the goal in any argument, to be honest. You should just want to defend yourself until you are either able to convince them or they're able to convince you. And not even just convincing, you should want to know that you are not getting it wrong. You want to know that you are not doing something that is bad or anything like that. So when it comes to fights and things like that, I don't want to yell. I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I want to actually talk about it and not be defensive or try my best to. I have a problem with that. I'm very defensive, just like my mother. But I know that. Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's a spit. Hold on. Hello? Hello? That's the third time today I've been spam called. I think I've just been started to say things to everybody that comments anything that, or comments. I'm sorry, I'm reading my messages. I'm starting to, every time I get spam called, just say, don't be alarmed. Your crops will wilt. Your crops will be. God will see you very soon. The sins of men will be your downfall as reckoning will come. Just weird, like, end of the world stuff. Or I just say things like get a sickness and don't get better. Not in those kind of words. It's a lot harsher. But I think that they've now just started. The third time I've done it both those times. And I was waiting for them to, this is a call from the National Butt Agency, and we have information about your warranty on your own ass. Anyway, ridiculous, unprofessional of them. I get that people want to make money, but at some point you have to look at yourself in the mirror and think, is this what I want to do? Like, how do these people... there's not enough... retribution in the world, and these people are allowed to just continuously do these things. They want to take advantage of somebody, and it's usually going to be old people, and it's just disgusting. I have no problem with it, and I understand that the workers themselves are also in vicarious situations. It's not so much I'm mad at the people that are behind the phones, more so mad at the people. Sometimes I am, because sometimes they're all in on it and they all want to do it, but other times it's just they need a job and they're doing it anywhere they can, and people are taking advantage of workers. It's really just the people that own the whole scam operation that I really would love to meet in person and then never have them meet another person after that, Anyway, I mean, really. Back to dealing with your emotions correctly. Bottom line, you shouldn't want to be right. You should want to be on the right path, and that's it. It's not about, like that whole, if they're right and you realize they're right, you just gotta don't admit it and just wait till tomorrow. What are you, 5? Are you 5? That's not correct. You should immediately be like, you know what? I am sorry. I realize that and I apologize. That whole need to, like, you're gonna have to say you're wrong anyway. Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting till tomorrow? That whole I won't admit that I'm wrong until, like, I won't admit I'm wrong until they're on their deathbed, and then I'm like, hey, by the way, remember back in 1953? Yeah, it turns out that you were right. I'm sorry. The axe is back. Like, it's childish. It's childish. That's all I'm saying. I'm not the pinnacle of what's mature. I'm not. I need to get better at that, but overall, I do want to inspire people to try to not want to be better than other people, because I think it's an inferiority complex most of the time, or this need not to lose, or I don't know, maybe people just gain the wrong thing. Maybe their parents teach them the wrong thing. People think that apologizing makes you weak, or I don't know why. I think apologizing is the easiest thing to do. Admitting that you're wrong, or just apologizing, even if you don't mean it. If you don't mean it, but you just don't understand it. It's not always a bad thing if you don't mean it. It's just maybe sometimes you don't understand where you're wrong, but they're convincing you enough that you are wrong about something, and you want to take a time. So you're like, look, I'm sorry. Let's just not talk about this. And then, the next day you're like, wait a second, and you go back to it. But then you should always still try to be more mature about that. But I understand that not everybody has that. You can't do anything about it. People are going to be immature. You can just hope to train children to be better than that, For instance, discipline. I personally have a son. I personally have a son. Rip to you, but I'm different. I have a son, and personally with him, I don't really believe in spanking him. His mother has. We've done it, but it's just, to me, I've been spanked myself. I just don't want to do it because I don't think it ever fits the punishment. You know what I mean? Like, or the crime of it, like if I found out that he was bullying people, I'd spank him. Absolutely. If he wants to feel powerful, I'm going to take that power away from him. He doesn't have the right to bully people like that. I'm not going to sit him down and talk to him. I'm going to do that after or before. I'm going to try to like get it through his mind, but I'm going to immediately. That's an immediate punishment. If I find that he's like really bullying people, then there has to be a consequence for his actions. But he doesn't get good grades. That's not a beating. That's a, hey man, you know what? Just keep trying. I really want you to succeed. This is very important. Your life is very important to me, and I don't want to see you flounder like I did. So please, it might be hard, but do the best that you can, or something along those lines. If he drinks and drives, that's a beating right there. That's Dad, I didn't kill anybody. Well, you could have, and that you could have taken somebody's child away, or you could have taken a father away, or a mother, or anybody. You could have hurt somebody. That's a beating. There's no, hey, you should learn. That's he knows what he did. I'm telling him what he did. That's an immediate you need a beating for that. So I don't believe in just handing them out, because you'll see that a lot in the black community specifically, because that's where I know it from. Even though my mom's white, I just know black people. I've met a black person before. I'm half black. I know I'm around the black community because I am black. I have, family, blah, blah, blah. I promise I'm black. And every single one of them says that they got an ass whooping for whatever reason. It didn't matter what it was. It was always just immediate. It was just like, if you made the mom mad, that was what it was, And I can understand in certain situations, like talking about your mom, you shouldn't do that. That's a warning, and then immediately don't do that. That's why you have a lot of kids these days that, not these days, always. It's always going to happen when you don't properly discipline them, fitting the punishment to what they're doing. If they talk back to you, they have all this angst and everything like that, and then they just you give them everything, and you give and give and give and give and give. And then they take and take and take and take, and you're not doing that right, If they're disappointing you, if they're treating you wrong, well, here's the thing: you don't just do things for them after that, off the bat. They're F you mom, or F you dad, I hate you, and I'm not doing what you want, and they're starting fights with you every 2 seconds. Try to listen to them. Always try to listen to everybody, but if they're just disrespecting you for no reason, or just disrespecting you in general, you gotta put a stop to that. You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna go take the car and go. No, you're not. You're not taking anything. You're gonna take your little ass back to your room. That's heck. You can sit right out here and we can stare at each other if you want. We can look right into each other's eyes till the cows come home. Have fun with that. I've got nothing but time. I don't need to go to work. Let's sit here. Let's have a good parental bonding. They shower and then just let them do it. I don't know. It's rich people problems, I guess. I don't know. I just don't know how people. I have fights with my mother, but I never tried to disrespect her as much as I could. I even had my angsty teen phase. You know what I mean? But my mom did not take well to that at all, ever. So I learned very quickly not to do that. So our fights were always. There's no escaping it. We're both absolutely angry, and there's nothing you can do. And that's where I learned to I learned I don't want to keep doing this. Every single time that we keep doing this, there's no one gets anywhere, and then we just kind of, it phases out, and then nothing's learned. No one's heard. Everybody just goes to bed thinking they're the victim, and that's just not right. You gotta admit where you're wrong in certain parts, even when it's aggravating. Even when it's aggravating because the other person wants that, and they feel like they want. Oh well, that's them. You gotta. It's about a character. It's about character. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'm just gonna. This is supposed to be just a check-in. It's not supposed to be. I lament about parenting tips and things like that when I'm not even really a hardened parent. But parents also get very defensive about their parenting style. Well, I'm not going to let you teach me how to raise my kids. You don't have to listen to me. That's the thing. You don't have to get so mad. Wah. Oh, wah, someone doesn't agree with your parenting skills. Grow up. Wah, do it or don't do it. It's not, here's the thing. They're not in your house. They're not making you raise your kids any different. You can either take it or don't. You can listen to them or don't. They can be right or they can be wrong. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I mean, like, people, like, it's like the parents that shame their kids on publicly. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't do anything. It's just shaming them. And you're getting views off of that. It's for likes and clicks and things like that. And you're expecting everyone to, agree and, like, love you and be like, ha 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 ha, look at them. They're crying. They're crying. You shaved all their hair off. They said no to you, so you shaved their hair off and shame them on. You gotta treat your kids like they're gonna be adults. You want to treat your kids not like they're property, but like they're people that you are gonna leave in the world. You gotta treat them like you want people that are going to be interacting with them to be treated. You want them to learn. You want them to develop properly. I mean, I had a lot of issues because of the way I was raised, and I mean, no offense to my mother, but I mean, everybody, it's impossible to raise a kid perfectly. There's always going to be something, but you know what I mean, like that plus a whole bunch of others. I think I could have gotten a lot better mentally had I learned the right ways. I had to learn all this through trial and error, and had I learned it a long time ago, I mean, there'd be a lot of things different. But oh well. Anyway, but that's overall. That's why I am obsessed with the idea that people can be different, because I had mental issues. I would forget where I was. I'd go to sleep and wake up the day after the next day. So I'd wake up, I'd go to sleep, and then it wouldn't be tomorrow, it would be the day after, with only a vague memory of what happened the day before. Only like I could remember like the start of the day, I could remember this or I could remember that, but then it just vanished after that, you know what I mean? And I was convinced that I had a great memory, but I didn't. There's a lot of times that it was scary. It was very scary because of. I was also a drug user, and I was also drinking a lot. I know, edgy as a teen. You don't get paid attention to, and you want to act out. So you want to, it's a cry for help. But then all of that, plus the bullying, plus the constant rude people in my life, the people that were kicking the crap out of me. I am surprised I did not. I'm a success story, I guess. I got off better, but if I could like list off the things that have happened to me in my life, it just you wouldn't blame me for going crazy. But I had depression. I was suicidal. I say I had it or that I was at times depressed, because you can be depressed but not have depression. There can be times that for like a small period of time that you are, saddened. But I say I had because I feel like depression is an actual mental issue that you don't just get better from. It's not something that just magically goes away for no reason. At least I personally don't believe so, because I genuinely was depressed. I'd get up every day and not want to do anything. I just wanted to, But that changed, but that changed. That got different, and that got better. But I mean, you're alone for so long, and I'm damaged because of that. But oh well. Anyway, but I was very rude to people. There's actually still a friend, old friend of mine, ex-friend of mine, that I lost a friendship with because, I put on a mask a lot when I was with people. I would pretend and I would hide myself because, I didn't want to be bullied even more. So I just got really good at it. I assume for certain days, but other days, people would still laugh at you and whatever. But then that can't really always be the case. So my privacy was really important to me, because that was the only time that I could not have to try really hard to focus on not being like that. And my friend was just being a friend, just being loud, being making noises and everything like that. And he was in my area, my room, my area, because he had to be there because his mother works, so he had to be in my area a lot. And unfortunately, I every single day, it just was getting harder and harder to like keep a lot of that the way it was. And then one day I kind of got, I don't know what happened. I kind of just saw red and then just started screaming for no reason. Just got up, started screaming, and then talking to myself. He was really affected by it, and it's something I still feel bad about, but I don't feel like apologizing. I know I was just talking about apologies more because I just don't feel like it's... I was just extremely rude. I don't know. Maybe I should, and I probably will, but... You know, it's also better. I mean, you lose friends all the time. And that was not goal of me. He just knew me at a time that was not good. It was not good for me, you know? And I regret that. But anyway, I've gotten better. I've definitely changed from that. And I believe that anybody can. Or not anybody, but a lot. That it's not as hard as people say. You just have to really want it. You just have to actually view yourself as not what you want, and truly not make excuses and just say, well, I don't like this, so make a change. Sometimes that's hard for people. I don't know why. I don't think people are want to face themselves, and that's fine. But you'll see that being kind to people and making amends is always the best, you know? Just like I said, I should apologize to the guy and make amends and then just leave it at that. But maybe another time, you know? I definitely take that into account, though. I think about that all the time. And for me, memory is a very hard thing. So whenever I do remember something, it's usually always something I either regret a lot, or something that was that bad that happened to me, but whatever. Anyway, this is running on for too long. Bottom line, gonna try harder to do the things that I promised to do to myself. Get a better diet, exercise more, try to create something and put it out there, and try to stream more, try to do everything more, and try to build a fan base, try to build a brand, try to build a community around me where people can feel included and feel like, you know, maybe you don't have friends, maybe you don't have a place, and you're on the internet all the time, and you associate with people who are just like you, who don't have friends, but they're vile people who, take out their own frustration, the fact they don't have it, and then they just explode that onto everybody, and they're not letting you grow. They're not the people that you should be associating with, because you should associate with people who that don't have friends or do have friends, but they ultimately are kind, and they want people to get better. Not people that want you to sit there and vile and filth and hate yourself and then hate everybody else and then just be mean. Sometimes being mean is just unnecessary. People are just too rude for no reason. It's really annoying. It's really sickening. But anyway, y'all have a good day. Love you. Oh, real quick. Promo time. I promo, but just promoting my other place, my other things. Thank you to all the people that are still, to this day, supporting me on Patreon. A lot of you have been there for almost a year, or have been there for a year, and I appreciate that. Regardless if it's $1 or $10 or $15, doesn't matter. $5, whatever amount you want to give. I appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you know, and it all goes into supporting me overall. I put that money aside, and I have been able to save money. It's not a lot, but it is a lot in the same sense, I mean? It's not like, I can pay my bills now, but I can plan accordingly. So thank you to all my Patreon supporters. If you would like to support me and see my channel grow and see, what I can do, I don't have much to offer now, but, besides a podcast on my Patreon, and then maybe behind the scenes of me doing this, or maybe early views at potential ideas, work in progress for things I'm trying to write or things I'm trying to draw, or know what my next plan is for something, whatever, consider supporting me on Patreon, patreon.com/JuiceeSaft. Everything I'm on is JuiceeSaft except Instagram, which is 2J's, JJ JuiceeSaft, or J JuiceeSaft, JuiceeSaft, because somebody took my name on Instagram and got it banned. Great, thank you. But supporting me there, great. Viewing my videos here, supporting me here, doesn't matter. Thank you. I appreciate every single person that comments. I appreciate every single person that likes my video, especially people that get a notification and immediately like the video. I appreciate that. For the people that watch my entire video all the way through, take out and carve out the time to watch me the entire time, even if you skip along. I mean, the whole point is that you get the general gist. I don't care if you skim, but just like you watch the video and you get to the end and you know what I'm saying here at the end, and you're seeing this. I thank you. You could be doing anything else with your time, anything else, and you carved out time for me. And while I might never see you specifically and be able to thank you specifically for it, it is something that I can't really express, because I'm someone that has been trying to do this for a long time, trying to get this to work, and thanks to an app it's finally working. But you gotta actually still try and build that up. But yeah, so my Linktree will have all my links for everything else: Twitter, Instagram, here, YouTube, TikTok. Well, not TikTok, but everything is JuiceeSaft, like I said. So, but that's just the clickable form, so you can get it. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much. I love you all. Bye.